So in this video, we're gonna show you the best strategy to follow up with your leads to actually convert them to close deals. So I'm going to jump on my desktop for this one, but we'll show you the study and the science behind follow-up, the importance of adding value, the psychology of it, and what to do if you're not sure how to follow up with value. So let's get into it. So over here, I have a study done by Harvard of 100,000 call attempts from high-ticket sales people, such as realtors and mortgage loan officers. So, I'm not going to go over how quickly leads get cold. We've already looked at that, but it's extraordinary. What is more relevant is how many call attempts are required to make contact with a lead. So most people, when you look at this, at the actual data, and I know this from talking to thousands of realtors and loan officers, most people have this mentality that if they're interested, they'll get back to me. And you can see this in the numbers. Most people actually give up in 2 or less calls. And that mindset is just not relevant to lead generation, online leads. It might be relevant to a referral or someone in your network because they kind of know you, they kind of trust you already. But with an online lead, remember they are strangers. And the only reason they gave you their contact information is because you ran an ad or maybe you made some content, but they don't know you yet. They don't know how good you are. So to assume that someone will get back to you because you called them once or twice, you need to get that out of your psyche right now because it's just statistically not true. And it's not conducive to your growth as a business owner. So when you look at the data, it actually tells you 90% of the time, you need to make 6 call attempts. And Harvard makes a good point. By just making a few more call attempts, sales reps can increase up to 70% of their contact rate, which essentially is increasing your business by up to 70%. Because if you can't get in contact with them, how are you going to sell to them? So this is extremely important to know. You have to follow up enough times until you get a yes or a no response. Now, why does this actually happen? Well, besides them not knowing you yet, honestly, I'm not a psychologist, but all I can say is this is proven by Harvard, by MIT, by pretty much every single high-ticket sales study out there. You can look it up. It is always true. So what you have to do is, number one, you have to hit the frequency required. But number two, you also have to follow up with value. Because if your follow-ups are just, hey, are you ready to sell yet? Then they're just going to get annoyed at you. They're going to think you're looking at them like some sort of dollar sign. And if you're selling a home or helping them get a loan for the biggest investment of their life, then they need to trust you. So how do you do that? Well, following up with value is the number one way to do that. Besides showing them your knowledge and your breadth of experience and adding value on that first sales call, which we'll cover in another video, but value-based follow-up is super important. So let's talk about how do you actually do the one thing which most people fail at is follow-up frequency. Well, let's jump back into your CRM. So remember, you have all of these people that you're following up with. And in another video, we kind of covered this already, but the people that are ghosting you, use automations or your assistant to help you. So let's get your assistant to follow up with this person. Slow Susan's not ready for a long time. So let's put her in long-term nurture and let's put her in your calendar every few weeks to follow up. But now you're left with people that you can call every single day if you need to. So what we recommend is call them daily if they're not getting back to you. Because remember, you need to get that yes or no response every single time, especially if they're qualified. You already spent so much money, effort, time to get them on that first meeting, and you had a good meeting and they're a good client, but you just haven't built the trust. So what do you do if you call them every day for a week, they still don't pick up your call? Then treat them like ghosting Gary. They ghosted you. So get your assistant to help you or get your AI automations to help you. But you need to put in the effort for the people that are the best prospects. So in summary, to get the volume out there, use your automations, use your assistant, focus on the few. And for the few, when you are following up, make sure you add value. So what does value look like? Well, let's talk about buyers versus sellers. So if you are showing them homes, if they're a buyer lead, what most people do, this is a crucial mistake. Most people will send them an email list, and the email will send them automatic emails when new listings come up, etc. And they have this attitude that, oh, if they're interested, they'll call me back. That is not true. That's not going to happen. What you have to do is follow up with them every time a new property comes out on the market and it it fits their budget, their criteria, call them right away. Be excited for them, because imagine if this was your home. Show them why it's a good fit for them, help them understand that you understand their needs, and then very quickly go in person to show them the property. And 50% of the time or more, if they're meeting with you as the first realtor they're meeting, the deal is almost yours. So you have to follow up with value. And if you're just putting them on an email list and assuming they're going to call you back, you're wasting your lead. So let's talk about a seller lead. So if you're trying to help someone sell their home, and there's a lot of things you have to do right in that first call, but let's say you had a great first call. So what are some things you can do as an agent for someone looking to sell their homes? Well, you can give them tips. You can give them a lead magnet, which is maybe you wrote an article or a blog on something that would help their specific circumstance or in their specific neighborhood, or maybe it's a market update that just happened. You have to send them information that's relevant to helping them understand selling their home or actually helping them sell their home. So if you're just putting them on some generic email drip, that's good. That's a good start. But if you're not following up with them with phone calls, if you're not following up with them with market updates, then it's not really value added to them, right? So you have to customize your follow up to them. And I know that is a lot of work, but remember, use the automations and your assistants for everyone that's not a high quality lead. Really, really focus on the high quality leads with your value added follow ups. You should ideally do it for everyone, but I understand if you have like 100 plus leads, it can be hard. So use the Pareto principle, focus on the 20% of people that will result in 80% of your business. So I hope this helps really clarify what is actually required to follow up and actually close these deals, because a lot of people have a misperception of, oh, if they're interested, they'll call me back. That's not true. So I hope this helps.